Yo, my name is Tanzeem, and welcome to Raising the Bar. But I'm here with a special guest.
Hey, yo, everyone. My name is Nehal. I'm a student at Birchmount Park Collegiate Institute who is currently a grade 11 student who transformed his entire life and my physique throughout 3 years of my life, from fat to super skinny and malnourished to jacked.
Yeah, I'm telling you, not that boy tough as hell, you know what I'm saying? But yo, we're here at this episode, so today we're going to be talking about what? What do you want to talk about today, Nehal?
I like to go over the fitness perspective in terms of...
Student life.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about student life, fitness, a lot of students, they tend to, when they start working out, it's usually, in the school's gym. A lot of, people are introduced to fitness at school, you know what I'm saying? So it's how did you start? Because he's a very special, person. He's very famous, too, at the school, you have your own Instagram channel, you post a lot of motivational stuff, I respect that. I'm a big fan, But what made you, start working out? What made you go from very fat to very skinny?
It all started off when I was microbullied back in 8th grade. Without realization, as I was a fat kid who was super unhealthy and had low IQ, I've been bullied throughout months without even realizing. I felt ashamed with myself. I didn't feel confident. As I was not confident, it reflected on how people perceived me. They say, "Oh, you're good. There's nothing wrong with you." But I knew that that was false deep inside. So throughout 3 years of my journey, I went through many phases in the fitness perspective, and then eventually I got into the nutrition perspective once I got enrolled in high school. In the fitness, however, the only thing I did was do so much cardio and girl-like exercises throughout the month of summer. And the result? No change. I still remained the same until I discovered nutrition. Nutrition from physical education back in 9th grade. I thank my teacher for teaching me about nutrition, and that caught my eye. And during my own time, I did my own research. I dived into the nutrition realm and applied it to myself to prove that this works. And the result, from semester 1 of grade 9 to semester 2, it worked. I started losing fat rapidly. I was in pride. I was filled with happiness. I encouraged myself to do more. So that way, I become the best looking version of myself. Right until after I completed 9th grade, after a miserable math test, I was like, finally, at last, I finally completed. Now, during the summer, during my Bangladesh trip, I still continued on my fat loss journey. And the result, I became malnourished and in famine.
No, I'll stop you there. Wait, what made you malnourished? Because for me, when I came to Birchmount in grade 9, I just straight up started hitting the weight room, you know what I'm saying? And just built muscle, you know what I'm saying? That's all I don't really care about losing fat. Cause one of my older bros, I get advice from my older bros. They tell me oh, just hit the gym, just build muscle. Don't focus on losing weight. You're growing up still, you know what I'm saying? So that's for me. That's the side for me. I also got quote unquote microbreed. I know what you're talking about when you say that, right? But I really didn't focus much on that. I was more so onto just trying to build a physique. That's pretty much it. But what made but you can continue off that. So I just want to add that on. You know what I'm saying?
Now, to cover up on how I got malnourished and famine, that's because, like I said again, I continued going through a calorie deficit. That's the nutrition fundamentals.
Yeah, tell them about the calorie deficit.
In terms of losing fat. Here's the main thing in terms of nutrition. You need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, either muscle or fat. And if you want to gain weight, you have to be in a calorie surplus. You can't change thermodynamics unless your hormones are right and your testosterone is up and high, which minimizes fat gain during a bulking season. Now, coming back onto my story. There were people in my life who noticed that I'm becoming super skinny, and they were telling me to stop. though I didn't listen. I still kept going because I knew a plan in my head. I purposely chose to be malnourished and in famine. Do you want to know why? Because I wanted to rebuild myself again from the ground up. Build it. Build it right up in a best version as it'll ever be. To redeem myself from the mistake I made when I was 6 years old. When I started bulking too much, that's the reason why I got fat. For those of you who have been with me throughout my entire school years and my education pathway, you would notice that I've gone fat rapidly. That's because I've been in a huge calorie surplus through fast food and unhealthy foods. That was the reason why I lost myself massively. And that's the reason why I got microbullied in the past. So then on, once I was malnourished and in famine, from August 13, I did look at myself and I knew that it was the right time to build muscle. But the thing is, I was very scared to bulk. Why? Because I did not want to become fat again. Until a fitness coach inspired me and encouraged me to follow a simple pathway that most people don't know, and that is lean bulking from a 200 to 300 calorie surplus. As I heard of this knowledge, I continued to be inspired by him, learn from him, and applied his research in fitness and nutrition to myself, though it came with a cost. Due to my family tormenting me because of my pathway towards becoming the best version of myself, I ended up gaining fat mostly until the end of semester of grade 10. Though, starting from semester 2, I started going on a 500 calorie deficit to lose the fat instead of losing muscle. To prevent making that mistake again, that way, calorie deficit will play a beneficial role towards becoming the best version of yourself. So then afterwards, I completed my 10th grade year. I went to the trip to Dubai, and the problem is, I was afraid to lose all my progress as from then on, before I got into the trip, I decided to lean bulk again to build muscle. The reason why I was scared was because I did not want to lose the progress. The same thing that happened during my Bangladesh trip back in 2024. Then that's when I made a best decision ever to be a client of the very fitness coach that inspired me in the first place. So we worked together towards building my physique. Though there were trial and errors, there were many complications, life hit on me. And as a result, I did gain muscle after the trip from Dubai to Saudi Arabia while doing calisthenics to compensate for the lack of gym locations. Afterwards, back in September of 2025, I did look at myself, and every time I take a picture of myself, I just felt like, man, that is not right. From then on, that encouraged me to go through a cutting phase throughout the entire semester of 2025. And as a result, it was a massive change. I became jacked and shredded, for real this time. And now from semester 2 to 2026, I started lean bulking. Though without my fitness coaches, except for 2, which I'll keep it to a mystery.
Yeah, I have a question. Wait, pause there for a sec. How much do you pay for those like programs, like to like those fitness coaches? You know what I'm saying? Because I heard you need to drop like a bag for that.
As a fitness coach?
No, like wait, you said you got like advice from fitness coaches, no?
Yeah, I did.
Did you buy their like stuff or you just was it just free stuff, free ball?
Actually, I had to purchase it
How much?
because
Yeah, but how much did it cost? That's like
to answer that, it came these fitness coaches, especially the one that inspired me in the first place, were higher in value, though it came with a cost. Typically, they cost between like $300 to $500 in Canadian dollars
month or
per month.
per month. Damn,
That's a lot.
that is a lot. Oh, but from in my opinion, for me, it was like I'd say just get advice from people in the gym. You know, like if you're like down on the money part, if you don't have 300, 500 just sitting in your bank account, just ask advice from people who actually go to the gym, right? You think that's smart, right?
Mm, it can vary.
Yeah.
The reason being is culture. And to continue my story of my fitness journey, starting from semester 2 of 2026, I continued to lean bulk. And 3 months so far into lean bulking, I'm still lean. Though I look at myself and I just see myself that I'm the same. Nothing has changed. I haven't even built muscle. Though, from other people's perspective, they saw me lean. Like, they think that I'm getting super shredded. Like, I'm still cutting, though I'm actually lean bulking. Therefore, that told me as a sign that I am lean bulking. Finally, I'm literally doing my own plan and I'm lean bulking the right way. So from there on out, I'll continue to lean bulk for 7 months minimum.
Until you build a decent frame, right? And you're gonna cut down after that, right?
Yeah, in case
Yeah.
if there's any fat left over.
But
Because I still need to build muscle to achieve my dream physique, though it'll take years to attain. So that is the story of not only my fitness journey, but the phase of my life that had changed me forever.
But I have a question. After doing all of that, right? Now that you're lean, you hit the gym consistently. Did that increase your like marks at school? Because for me, my marks are increasing like crazy. But for you, I was wondering if it was like the same thing, you know? Because at the end of the day, it's a student life, right? You're trying to balance out stuff, right? You're trying to balance out going to the gym, doing school, doing ECs, like extracurriculars and stuff like that, right? So were your marks increasing? Was there like life like were you living life to the fullest after that? Even though you did mention you had some sense of body that kind of body dysmorphia, yeah. I
That
mean,
is correct.
yeah, but like you're doing better than like what you did before, right? You're getting higher marks. You're participating in stuff, right?
Hmm. Now to answer that, as I trained, it did lower my inhibition. By definition of inhibition, it's when you're anxious in social perspectives. That's something to say shortly to define that word. So, as I trained, it did lower my inhibition because of the intensity that I put in myself. It not only affected the physical perspective, it also affected my mental health. It made my mental health even better. For instance, in the morning, I can start it off with training my legs. And afterwards, I felt amazing. I was sky high, like I was high in testosterone. Like I was very happy and in pride that I went very crazy throughout the day.
Like you're happy and stuff, right? You're just always like rainbow and sunshine, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I guess
And this is not the first time. I've done this multiple times, especially throughout semester 1. And as a result, it did lead me to become very confident because of the low inhibition and building my physique. It leads me to become confident and be stoic. That way, I just know my values and I won't feel off when life hits on me or if anyone tries to offend me.
Yeah,
Because I just know my values and I'll keep it to myself and be aware of it.
Yeah, that's 100% respectable. You know, like it's good to know like more in depth about you, but now we kind of have to like wrap it up. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna keep this episode as like an intro to you, right? Next episode we're just gonna talk about student life, right? We're gonna talk more about student life, right? Because like a lot of students out there, they wanna balance their grades, they wanna like, get a good physique, the physique of their dreams. You know what I'm saying, right? They also wanna keep the nutrition up in check. So we're definitely gonna talk about that and how you balanced it. But it's definitely nice, you know, talking about like like about you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I look forward to inspiring many people to become the best versions of themselves and clean out the mess that the dark society had affected us, starting from 1980s when USA had taken over the diet in America. It was horrible. If you keep tabs on the history in diet culture, from the 1980s, USA was majorly responsible for how horrible everyone's diet is, and it affected throughout the globe. And to finalize and get back to the point of whether training increases your grades or not, I gotta say, it definitely does. And it's also a win-win as well. You get to have a better life as well.
I know, that's not, I've experienced that too, you know what I'm saying? I really do appreciate, you know, like, your story got, like, a tear in my eye, you know? Like, I'm being so I'm being so, like, serious when I say that. But, man, like, what a journey, you know what I'm saying? Like, you went from, like, all three phases. You went from, like, fat to, like, really skinny, and now you're, like, jacked, yeah?
Yeah,
It's pretty impressive for a high schooler. But now we have to end the episode. So that's it for raising the bar, or delaying the bar. But next time it's going to be called raising the bar. Well, we see you guys in episode 2.
And to finalize this, I am the first person to ever go through this transformation from fat to skinny to jacked.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for more of the content that Birchmount Buzz has to offer you.
Yo,
guys.
and the fitness coach he was talking about was me, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, follow Ahmed Fitness Non-Nutrition and apply to my one-to-one coaching if you guys look forward to becoming the best version of yourselves.
Definitely. Well, we're going to wrap it up. So, yeah, thank you for checking us out. We'll see you guys in the next episode.